Like any kid that's a child of immigrants, you hear stories of where our family came from. And my father's always said, never forget where you come from. And he would tell us stories all the time. And the one story he always tells us about is apricots and figs. And he told us this one story. Him and his friend Pasquale, they always got into stuff on the island when they were growing up. But one of the things they used to do is they'd go out and take apricots and figs from local farms. I mean, it was just after, the war and things, and they were, food and other things were scarce. So he would tell me that they would walk through the island, decide which farm they were going to go after, and, they'd get their T-shirts and they'd tie the bottom, and then they'd fill up with apricots or figs, whichever they decide to do. So on this one occasion, he's walking with his friend Pasquale, and his friend already knows what he's going to do. But Pasquale's not really into wanting to go get some apricots and figs. He's a little nervous. My dad's like, we're going to go into that farm there. So sure enough, my dad scales the wall. He's going through the yard. He climbs up the tree. He's loading up his shirt with apricots this time. And his friend Pasquale is sitting outside the farm, and all of a sudden the farmer comes out and just slams out of the screen door opens, and he runs out because he can hear some wrestling around. But he's looking, and he can't see anything. My dad is up at the top of the tree, his shirt full of apricots, and he's looking down. The guy is like right below him. And so his friend sees what's going on, and he sets up a diversion. And so he throws a rock across the farm to the other side, which starts making noise. So the guy takes off in that direction. And my dad knows this is his chance to get out, So he runs down, he climbs out of the tree, and he's running across this small farm, and the guy's yelling, in Italian at him. I'm sure I could imagine what he was saying. But my dad is worried. The sound's getting louder and louder. My dad scales the wall and gets out, and him and his friend just ran down as far as they could, and then went to the beach, and of course laughed about it, and they enjoyed the apricots, right? So hearing these stories over the years, first time I went back to Italy was in 2005. I went with my mom and dad, my wife Carol, and my brother Dominic. Now, I had been to Europe a few times. I've been to Luxembourg, I've been to Russia, I've been to Kazakhstan for work. But I purposely waited to go to Italy with my father. So one Christmas in 2004, I said, Dad, we got to go to Italy. We have to, I need to go back with you. I'm not going to go unless you go with me. And so, of course, my dad says, okay, but when we go, we have to plan it around 2 soccer games. So we did that. So we looked at the schedule. We said Roma, Lazio, and then back then Naples was playing Rimini. They were in the 3rd division. So we planned it, and we went. So when we first got to Ischia, I remember the first thing I wanted to do was go see the castle. The castle of Ischia is the icon of the island, and you see it throughout San Pedro. Any Ischia house you go in San Pedro has some tile of the castle somewhere in the house. And that's what I grew up with, seeing that. So being able to get down and seeing the castle for the first time, brought tears to my eyes. And, I've looked back at some of the old pictures I have of it, and, it's pretty memorable moment for me. But it was interesting, as we were walking down to the castle, we're walking, and my dad goes, hey, Anthony, the apricots and fig story? That happened right over here. And of course, now there was a bank there, and there's other things there, but he's like, it's right here. So having heard this story, writing about it, being able to see where it took place, that was pretty neat moment for me. So fast forward, I take my kids in 2006. They were little, kind of told them about the story. They knew the story. Grandpa told them about the story. But we just went back this year, and of course, walking by, I said, hey, boys, the apricots and fig story Grandpa tells you, it happened right here. And of course, like, wow, really, that's pretty awesome. So making that connection across the generations is so important. Regardless of where you come from, never forget where you come from, and always make that connection with your kids, and they'll make the connection, and then your heritage lives on forever.